Hey, it's Billy, your community coordinator for all things entertainment here at Upper Deck. 2023 to 24 DC Annual is one of our more recent releases. The 100 card character base set includes themed inserts, variant covers, plexi cards, backscatters, sketch cards, and so much more. For more on the set, Billy, one of Upper Deck's senior product managers and TJ content specialist for publishing, joins us for some insight. Guys, thank you so much for the time.
Thanks for having us, Billy.
So this set is one of our first for DC Comics. Do you feel like this was something that a lot of collectors in the hobby knew was sort of missing in the market? TJ, starting off with you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. DC as as a company has had their hands in multiple areas of licensing, whether it's video games, toys, film, animation, you name it. But trading cards is one of those places where historically it's always been a little weaker. So being able to kind of fill that void and give the audience what they want, I think has been fantastic.
Yeah, a lot of people really excited about getting the Upper Deck twist on the DC universe. You know, they've seen what we've done in the past, and the opportunity to just make some cards with their favorite characters that we've done for other superheroes really brought a lot of excitement. And this is just the start, but this has been a great start.
In an annual trading card set, what are some of the things that a lot of collectors, even new ones, can expect?
So it's really about the year in comics for DC. That's what our annual set's all about, kind of like the annual comic book. So it's a little bit of everything, a lot of introduction to new characters, to storylines. Maybe some people, haven't been paying attention. They're catching up to what's happening in the DC universe. And not only do we get to tell those stories, but we get to tell them in ways through cards with different technologies, with different images and stuff like that. That really is an exciting way to do it.
TJ, you got to do the checklist on this set. Let's talk about some of the characters that you were so excited to see.
Nightwing, and more Nightwing. Yep. Nightwing, obviously, anybody who knows me knows Nightwing is my favorite DC superhero. Nightwing, Robin, characters like that are always great, but then getting to have characters like Plastic Man in here, Firestorm. Firestorm hadn't made a lot of appearances over the last handful of years, and getting to use him in World's Finest was super cool. The Birds of Prey, I mean, all the villains that we have in here. I know everybody always thinks Batman villains when they think DC villains, but Lex Luthor has amazing cards in here, and the Cheetah, obviously, stuff that Tom King is doing in his Wonder Woman run. So, yeah, it's awesome getting to be able to play with it that way.
Some of the early looks at these cards, the artwork that's been chosen for these cards have been highly praised. What went into that process?
I tell everybody all the time, whenever I'm building a checklist, I'm always thinking about how are we presenting the character, not just the way we do trading cards, but how are we using that art. So I tell everybody all the time, timeless, iconic, and classic. Will this image stand the test of time? Will that costume stand the test of time? And I think when people look at these cards in 10 years, when we do DC Annual 33, 34, they're going to look at that and they're going to know, wow, that's great. These images are cool, and they set the bar.
So let's talk about the insert that highlights some of the new characters and issues that creators introduced in the past year.
Sure. That's the first appearances. First appearance was a lot of fun because there's at some point everybody's favorite character is a rookie, and there's been a long history in rookie cards, in not just trading cards but also in comic book trading cards. So getting to use new characters like Shush, for example, or Marilyn Moonlight over in the Superman books, or Dreamer, who like Harley Quinn or Livewire, she made her debut on television and then made her way into the comic books. So it's always kind of cool to see and highlight characters like that.
Yeah, there's some inserts that are like traditional with our annual set, and like the Star Rookies is one of them. What's really cool about the annual set too is the fact that then you have the themed inserts. So there's the traditional stuff, there's the photo variants and those sort of things, but then and the backscatters, but then there's also other inserts that are completely unique to the set.
Let's talk about the variants very quick. The artwork was different for this particular parallel. What went into the thinking behind that?
Oh
No, please.
No,
Sorry.
it's a variant cover. It definitely it should be different. You go to you go to a comic book shop and you'll see the same issue with different versions of the covers on it. And a while back, I think I was at Frank and Sons and I saw the covers that literally just had like the black and white or like the white background with the characters. So I kind of wanted to and. It reminded me of our canvas cards. And so a couple years back, we switched the variant covers to be on canvas with kind of like a black and white feel to them. So this is kind of like a little bit of an ode to that style.
And the artwork that we use for the variant cover cards are all variant covers, which makes it even better. So that to me is always a nice way of being able to. So you had brought up before taking their stories and putting the upper deck twist on them. I always talk about distilling their medium into our medium, and I think Annual is a perfect example of how to do that.
So Night Terrors was one of the more bigger storylines in DC Comics. How fun was it to create a whole insert just based on that?
So when I build a set like Annual, one of the first things I do is walk over to DJ's desk and say, what storylines do you want to do? And he kind of gives me the idea and the stories and stuff, and then I try to think of what technologies might work best with this. And this is just kind of a beautiful marriage of minds coming up with a really cool looking insert. You kind of look at the comic book covers and the story and everything that he's telling me, and I'm just like, we gotta make these special. And I think you see that in the designs for sure.
And one of the things that people tend to kind of misconstrue is that superheroes are a genre in comic books. Superheroes aren't comic books themselves. So as a genre, though, it is insanely malleable where you can do anything with it. So the idea of having this big event that is a horror-themed event that is surrounded around the nightmares of heroes and villains with this new villain, Insomnia, who's also in the Star Rookies insert, being able to take just stark imagery like that, like the Zatanna one you had before, the Mary Marvel right here, and show them at really their worst, their most scared, their most vulnerable. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I deal with the colors, and this guy picks out the cool images. And it came out great.
So let's talk about what are some of the card technologies that collectors can expect to see.
That's where he comes in.
Yay!
Yay!
So obviously, we have our different parallels where we use different foil boards for the parallels. Here you see an example of our acetate, the suspended animation, and these are kind of like a tradition that we've added in Annual. So this is the first time that you're seeing a number of DC characters with the suspended animation. We do have plexi cards in here, and these are the parallels these are extremely rare. If you look at the back, there's only 10 of these cards. Wow. So someone's going to be pissed off that we have one of the 10 of this one, but
sorry.
We pulled it in our case, and there it is. We have our 3D lenticulars, and comic books and 3Ds. It's kind of cool because it's like the art on a comic book page is awesome, and then if you can just pop it out even more, it makes it look even better. We have our backscatter stickers, and then you've got the gold parallel to those also. Yeah. But these are my favorite. These are, when I was a kid, my dad would take us to the bowling alley and give us like $2 in quarters, and we would get to pick out what we were going to use in the vending machines. Yeah. And one of the things they used to have were these stickers of different sports and different entertainment stuff. So when I had the opportunity to kind of bring these back a few years ago, we did, and they're just really cool looking cards and just nostalgia right there.
And talking about the nostalgia that Billy's tapping into with these as well, the achievement the achievement backscatters. Can I talk about those?
Yeah, go for it.
So the vintage backscatter achievements was something that I was really, really proud of. And as I was explaining the way I was building the checklist for that, I could see Billy going, okay, that's great. Is it vintage artwork and are people going to like it? And I'm putting this out there for anybody who is watching this. Those cards are all themed. And I'm not going to tell anybody what the theme is, but I really hope that somebody figures it out there, because it's a pretty cool part of DC history, but very specifically a part of licensing DC history. So that's one of those things that I think that, you talk about the Upper Deck twist. It's not just us doing what we do best, but it's also us knowing what we know and really just having a strong knowledge base.
The theme is it's TJ's favorite characters?
No. One of them is on there, though. Yes. Yeah. But it's very cool, and I hope that someone figures it out. So I love it.
So what were some of the, actually, very quickly, was gold, like a gold parallel for the backscatters? Was that something that was new that was added in the set?
I think we've done it one other year. There was an intention for the golds, and we ended up, that intention didn't happen, and we ended up just putting it in the product, and the consumers liked it. They're obviously rarer than the regular backscatters, so it's just a rare, more colorful variant of the original backscatters.
Very quickly, let's talk about some of the parallels here. You have this beautiful green one right here of Steel. Was that something that was that a lot of characters or that was put into maybe a set that came out last year that's sort of a little newer to the brand?
So we're focusing on branding, and so we definitely, like, annual is our brand. So we've kept a number of things consistent with our annual sets, and this is one of the parallels that it's numbered and it's consistent with our branding. And there's also like the hologram parallel. These are really popular, extremely rare, and again we want to say very consistent with our branding for this set. So a lot of the parallels and stuff are consistent with what we've done previous years.
Let's talk about the set in general. Why go with an annual brand or annual set to start off with our first DC trading card set?
There's a few reasons, and one of it is just kind of like it using comic book art. It's easier than spending time with original artwork, and it's a little bit quicker to make, I guess you could say, and we wanted to get something out soon. That doesn't mean that we don't have original artwork in the works right now. We actually have a number of original artwork sets coming, and annual is kind of like an introduction set. It's one of those sets where it's very affordable. The cost to get a sketch card in annual compared to other sets, I think, is a lot more feasible on how often they fall compared to how much a pack or a box costs. But being kind of like an introductory set, it's kind of, it works because this is like an introductory to DC for Upper Deck. So that's another reason why we did that.
There's and on the content end of it, the very cool thing about starting with DC Annual is if you are already reading comic books, it rewards you for reading comics because you're getting to see all this stuff you read throughout the year, and now you're seeing it through the Upper Deck lens. If you haven't read comic books in years and you're a lapsed reader, you buy a set of the cards, you buy a box, and you can kind of start getting caught up in a way where it's a little bit easier, it's a little bit more accessible in that way. And if you don't read comic books at all and you just like cool trading cards, it's a great way to get to know characters that you might not know yet. So it really kind of serves everybody. But to start with the DC universe rather than starting with Batman's corner of it or Superman's corner of it shows our commitment to DC Comics as a brand as well.
Was there a lot of pressure, because this was our first big trading card set for DC, was there a lot of pressure for both of you guys to just really make sure to get the first one right?
Yeah, anytime you get a new license, you want to show them how good of a job you can do, and I think we did that. we've had new licenses, and it's just like you want to come out the gate on fire, and not just kind of like, oh, here's a little bit of this, or here's a kind of this. No, we put a lot of work into this first set. There was definitely a lot of pressure to make sure that it was good, that the consumer was interested. It was funny. We were in a meeting with some of our distributors, and they might not be used to the DC market and what people are expecting or what they want. And so we were describing it to our distributors, and one of the distributors was just kind of like, well, I'm not really sure about this. And then, I kid you not, a half hour after that into the meeting, he's like, guys, I got to apologize. I just got a call from one of my reps, and I need more cases of it. Like,
I love it.
It's like the demand was out there, so there was a lot of pressure to put something out there that not only the trading card market people want, but the DC collector that has been looking for sets like this for a long time would collect and want.
A big part of that too was ensuring that we are representing DC Comics in a way that is meaningful to them as well. And they could not have been more helpful throughout the entire process. It always helps a licensor when you have licensees that speak the language. And I think that them learning our language and us showing them that we speak theirs, I think it really made for kind of a much stronger relationship than I think any of us even anticipated. So that was awesome. But one of the things I want to highlight, and this really kind of goes deeper into it. So we've got a couple cards that we did for our World's Finest insert. And this is the fun inside baseball part of stuff that I love. So that image of Firestorm right there is from World's Finest issue 16. And that is not the background that he was in. Both pieces of art are by Dan Mora, the series artist, but DC helped us come up with backgrounds that we're going to be able to work for these three cards where it fits a trading card. So that Wonder Woman is also from that same image that Firestorm is in, but the background right there is an issue of Shazam by Dan Mora as well. So just being able to take these different things, same with Bumblebee right here. It's from a cover to World's Finest Teen Titans, and that background is from an issue of Batman Superman World's Finest. So just them being so helpful and ready and available to see us succeed, which in turn helps them succeed as well. And it puts these characters out there in a way that they want them to be. So stuff like that is what made this set so cool.
So collectors could also chase autos of some of their favorite creators from DC Comics. What was that like for the both of you, just to know that this was something that was going to be readily available for collectors? I'll start off with you, TJ.
The way I built the checklist for the signers was very specific. It's all heavy hitters: Mark Waid, Tom Taylor, Tom King, Joanne Sterer, Daniel Sampere, Bruno Redondo, you name it. Like, they're all major players at DC right now. But I was very specific in the way I chose them too, because almost all of them live internationally. Like Tom Taylor and Nicholas Scott are in Australia, and Dan Mora, I believe, is in Spain. And so everyone's kind of all over the place. So unless you go to SDCC or to New York Comic Con, they're not always going to be readily available at your local convention for you to get them to sign anything of your favorite character. So I wanted everybody to be able, if they open a pack, have the ability potentially to get their favorite creator on their favorite character without wondering, are they ever going to come to my town? So it was very cool.
Yeah, sounds like TJ just wanted to set himself up with free flights around the world. To visit all these people. No, it's like we're super excited that we're dealing with some artists that maybe we haven't dealt with in the past. So anytime you can step away from same old, and bring something new to the table is really exciting. So the fact that they were able to get a number, because we don't just call them and say, hey, do you want to, like, we have our talent acquisition team goes out there and does a great job of of getting the people that are recommended, and I think they did a great job this time also.
So while we don't have one here, another part of the chase element are sketch cards. How does that add to the desirability of the trading card set?
I think a lot of people, I mean, there's different type of collectors, and honestly, some collectors are just sketch card collectors. And like I mentioned, this is a great opportunity at an affordable price to get some really high-end looking sketch cards. But anytime you can get original artwork from like maybe your favorite character or characters that you haven't seen before, it's a great opportunity. And so to have sketch cards in annual is a definite plus. You know, we don't necessarily even build them in as a, like, you get one per cake. Like, we go out there and try to get as many as we can and put as many as we can into the product of whatever gets approved.
TJ, what about you?
You know, comic book fans, trading card fans love original artwork, and being able to have something that is just yours, it's the one of one, it's an exciting feeling. So the fact that it's all characters that we haven't gotten to use before, and a product like Annual, you're going to get your Supermans and your Batmans and your Wonder Womans, but it's also, you know, the opportunities to get at least one of 6 different Green Lanterns in there.
Yeah.
So it that to me is always the neat part about this, is just you never know.
Last question for you guys. What's it like knowing that, you know, the product is finished? It's a lot of collectors out there are opening it, and just tons of great reactions so far. Billy, starting off with you, what's that like for you?
It's, you know, a big weight off your shoulders, you know. When you get a license, there's obviously, like, we've known about the DC license for a long time, and that we've had it, and you know, so like, you keep telling people, oh, it's coming, like, get ready, like, we got some products coming. And to finally say, hey, Wednesday it's out, or and then I finally get to watch people break boxes, and I finally get to go on to you know, the DC Facebook groups and have people talking about it. It's just been a lot of fun, and I'm already anticipating a bunch of phone calls to be on different podcasts to talk about it, because the excitement seems to be there for sure.
TJ, what about you?
You know, speaking completely honestly, DC's been my favorite publisher since I was a kid, and I've gotten to work on some really, really cool stuff. I've been, you know, gotten to work with Billy on some really cool stuff here, and this is the project where I think there was a part of my heart and soul that really went into this in a way that, like, I thought was in the other stuff, and I realized this was just a completely different thing. And so seeing people's response to it on a product like Annual, which typically it's a great product, but Annual doesn't get the anticipation that a lot of other sets do. It's overwhelmingly cool to see people be so excited about this.
I think you're just excited because you can finally do these things with your sleeves rolled up.
I don't have to hide my DC tattoos anymore. That's right.
I just want to say, I think a lot of collectors out there can definitely see the love and passion that was behind these cards. You know, it's so well done, and I congratulate the both of you guys for just getting this out there, and, you know, just opening it myself. I'm just so blown away by the amazing artwork that you guys chose, and also the amount of different inserts. I think you guys have created a huge variety for a lot of new and continuing collectors. So,
appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Billy.
Cool. So that'll do it for this edition of Upper Deck in Review. I want to thank Billy and TJ again for coming on and giving us some insight into the 2023-24 DC Annual Trading Card Set. And thank you for the viewers as well for tuning in. Before we go, don't forget to smash the like button, hit that notification bell for the latest updates for Upper Deck, and you can also subscribe to our other social media pages for previews of our upcoming trading card sets and games, as well as gallery prints. Until next time, I'm Billy, and you're watching Upper Deck in Review.